Okay, thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming. Let's continue to learn from Great Master YongHua, what he taught during the Chanqi. Okay, go ahead.
除非这有一点点特别情形呢，或者有毛病呢，就是想要吃一点什么药啊，这可以。
Unless there's a special circumstance, or if I am sick and want to take some medicine, that's fine.
除此而外，有很多人，这个供其信物啊，以前问说你要什么，想吃什么。
Other than that, many people buy things for me. In the past, they asked, "What do you want? What would you like to eat?"
好像我和常常的人有的时候这样问我，我什么都吃，什么都不吃。
They often ask me like that from time to time. I eat everything and I also eat nothing.
没有人说啊，你一定要给我，没有，这是我跟你们在讲。
There's no such thing that you must give me a certain thing. No such thing. I am telling you this again.
那么说现在是怎么和人要钱了呢？我没和你们要钱，你可以不给我。
So how come now I am asking others for money now?
Okay, let's stop. Oh, finish.
I didn't ask anybody for money. You don't need to give it to me.
Okay, so Master YongHua talked about eating, and he says, I really don't have a craving for anything. Okay, that's what's the point in living. Seriously, if don't you, I feel it's more normal to enjoy some kind of food, don't you think? He's really like a saint. He's like, so high up there that like he lives and he doesn't need to eat. You see, when the Buddha was alive, you know what he said? The Buddha said, the people gave him all sorts of good things. They invited the Buddha and his disciples to feasts. Villages, the whole village would make a feast. You can read about this in the Hinayana Sutras. I read a lot of Hinayana Sutras in English. And the whole village would pitch in, and each person would contribute this or that, a dish or labor or goat milk and butter and so forth. So the whole village pitched in. And so the Buddha really had a lot of good food to eat, okay? And to me, that's important, to enjoy the food, to really appreciate that those are the finer things in life, part of our culture, if you will. And here, Master YongHua says, I really don't want to eat anything. In contrast, the Buddha said, the Buddha has this blessing where no matter what he ate, it's still tasty. The simplest food, the boiled food or whatever, is still so tasty to the Buddha. It's just as tasty as fancy food, as expensive food. Okay, so it's Master YongHua, when he came to our country, he is such a high standard. It's incredibly high, and yet, my fear is that when you set that so high, then no one can really come close to you. You like you put yourself on a pedestal where no one can touch you, no one can come even close to you, and therefore you lose the connection with the people. Okay, but so he chose to do that. He could say, I love this, I love that as well. But he says, no, I'm going to be a pure monk. And I feel that's important for him to do that initially, okay, at his generation, the first time. So his first time Mahayana, true Mahayana came to the US, and therefore the standard needs to be set very high. So it's understandable. Furthermore, 69, he says, unless when he's sick and there's certain food where he needed to eat to help cure himself, to heal himself, yes, then he would definitely eat those specific things, but not because of desire, but it's out of necessity. All right? In Buddhism, actually, it's a pretty tricky thing when you eat medicine and so forth. There's certain dharma you need to do because, for example, you cannot keep medicine for more than 7 days. It's just very, very complicated. Okay, but he says he would take some medicine and so forth. Then it's okay, and those are exceptions. That's fine. Other than that, many people buy things for me in the past. They ask, "What do you want, or what you like to eat?" Okay, people really adored him and wanted to buy things for him, and especially give him good food. So he says, I eat everything, I also eat nothing. Okay, eat everything meaning that I enjoy everything. Okay, and yet I'm not. When I enjoy it, actually, I'm really not attached to my pleasure. Okay, that's what it means. I eat nothing. 什么都不治, meaning that I really enjoy it, but to me, at the same time, it's not like I'm attached to the flavors at all. Does it make sense to you? Is it possible? How can you enjoy? See, I eat everything, meaning I enjoy everything you serve me. Okay? That's what it means. I eat everything, meaning that whatever you give me, the best food you could find, I enjoy it. The most simple things you give me, I also enjoy it. So I eat everything, okay? But at the same time, I eat nothing. I'm absolutely not attached to anything I eat. So whether it's the greatest food, the most expensive food, the most exclusive food, most fancy food, to me, it's still nothing. So far, so good. So this describes you his state. On the outside world, he says, yes, I set the standard very high here, okay, where I'm not attached to food at all, okay. But let me tell you, I do enjoy food. I eat everything. I enjoy the food you give me, but at the same time, I'm not attached to it. Yeah, that's what he meant. It's the same thing. When you give me something, he says, I will enjoy it, I appreciate it. You give me good tea, I appreciate it. Sort of. And you give me good clothes, I appreciate it. You give me a red car, I appreciate it. But I'm not attached to any of those things. Okay? So that is what? The middle way. You enjoy it, the middle way you enjoy it, and yet you're not attached to it. Does it make sense? So, in contrast, the people would put on facades and say, I really don't care for this tea because I'm above, flavors, drinking. So that's not the middle way. Is that clear? His teaching is very, very subtle. It sounds like it's nonsense, it's a show-off. Actually, it's the middle way. This is level, this Mahasattva is incredible. So he challenges. Yes. 73. So, how come now I'm asking others for money? I didn't ask anybody for money. You don't need to give it to me. Okay? That's probably need more information. Let's continue and be patient, see what comes after this to get the complete message. Continue, please. Now he brings up money.
你要不给我，我不勉强你给我。我是叫你做功德，叫你布施啊。这个钱不是给我的。
I won't. If you don't give it to me, I won't force you to give it to me. I am asking you to plant blessings, to give. This money is not for me.
你不要打错了算盘子啊，这个写到我的账目上。
You shouldn't get your calculation wrong and write it onto my account. 我再给你们讲一个香港的消息。我在香港呢，有一个徒弟，这个徒弟钱多的不得了。 I would also like to tell you other news from Hong Kong. In Hong Kong, there was a disciple. This disciple, there were many people.
There were really a lot of people. 不得了, he said, really you, it's a lot. Okay. But never mind, it's not a big deal. It's very, very casual.
我以前讲过，他生了看5-6个医生说他100天一定死。
I talked about this before. He got cancer, and 5 to 6 doctors said that he will for sure die within 100 days.
应该皈依我之后就没有死啊，就被这个当时有个定期攀援。
After he took refuge with me, he didn't die. He didn't die. Because at that time, there was a 定期, so he climbed on conditions.
攀援大法师，他就给攀援去了。攀援。
He climbed on conditions was the great Dharma master. He went to climb on conditions.
以后我修大屿山慈行寺啊。
After he climbed on conditions, he were building Cixing Monastery in Lantau Island.
他就派一个工人给我送了200块钱呢。大致说是他的博士送来的这个钱来帮助我修慈行寺。
He sent a worker to give me $200. The worker said that his boss sent this money over to help me build the monastery.
我把这个钱拿过，我看都没看，我拿掉到外边去，掉到门外边。我说
I took over the money without looking at it at all. I took it over and threw it outside the door.
你回去告诉他，我不用他这个邋遢的钱，这个钱太不干净了。
I said, You go back and tell him, I will not use his filthy money. This money is too dirty.
这个师傅不是随随便便要人钱的，你们不要以为这个你们有钱给我。
This master will not ask money from others casually. Don't think that you have money to give me.
要我欢喜我才要，你不欢喜根本就不要的。当时一切妥了。这个大人给的钱都不要，给掉的外边去了。
I only accept it if I want to. If I don't want to, I won't accept it. At that time, I didn't want his money at all. I threw it outside.
但是这个姓张的觉得很没有面子，我就特意叫他没有面子。
Mr. Zhang lost face big time. I purposely made him lose face.
你们给我钱呢，你们不跪着叩头我都不要。
If you want to give me money, if you don't kneel and bow down, I won't accept it. 谁打都可以，没有意见。你打也可以。 I will skip forward in this case.
Okay, Zhu Kong has a question.
Hello, Master. You said that Mahayana is to embrace everyone. Why is the Master Sonwa refuse certain people's money?
Okay, and let's go back to this thing. I don't know where he's going. Okay, he's done. Okay, fine. Great. It's not clear to me in this Chinese section here, and the translation didn't help add any more details. Maybe you can help me out, especially Chinese people, maybe clearer to you. Okay, so he says, how come now I'm asking for money? And he asked anybody for money, and you didn't need to give it to me. So he says, even though I asked you for money, you don't have to give it to me. I'm not forcing you. But when I ask you for money, is to help you plant blessings. The blessing you plant is with the triple jewel, not just for me. Yes, too.
There's some background information on the past couple of slides. This layperson, Mr. Zhang, he got cancer and he took refuge with Master YongHua. And at that time, Master YongHua told him a method so that he wouldn't die. He asked him to plant blessing, to donate 20 yuan to all the left-home person who traveled from mainland to Hong Kong. At that time, there were about 3,000 to 4,000 left-home person, and Master YongHua asked him to donate 20 yuan or 20 Hong Kong dollar, and also some cloths so they can make clothes. And he said, if you have good affinity with all the left-home people, then I will guarantee that you won't die. So he agreed. Mr. Zhang agreed that he would do. And he also said, if within 100 days I do not die, I will donate 20万美金, 20万 is 200 to, is that 2 million? Or 200,000 $20. No, more than that. 20,000.
The Chinese is funny. The Chinese, when they convert their system into our decimal system, they get confused. It's fun to watch them struggle with it. The Taiwanese, the Chinese is all the same.
Help. Ray, help me.
Hello.
20,000.
It's 200,000.
200,000. He will donate 200,000
Especially girls.
US dollar. And 100 days passed. He did not pass away. And but he did not donate the money he promised Master YongHua. And he ran away with another master, Master Dingxi, at the Dongling Temple. And he donated a lot of money with Master Dingxi. And he was doing repentance service from other master. And there are other masters told him that you did not die within 100 days is because the repentance that we did for you and the blessing from that. So Mr. Zhang never donated any money that he promised Master YongHua, and he lived after he took refuge with Master YongHua, he lived another 8 years. And Master YongHua told everybody that in the future, if Mr. Zhang come to me and ask for my help, even if he kneel in front of my door for 3 years, I will not look after him, because I waited for him for 8 years. He made a vow and he did not do it. So after that, Mr. Zhang got ill again, and a lot of his family went to look for Master YongHua, but Master YongHua did not see them. He did not even let them get into the door. So later on, the story mentioned in the slides, he asked somebody to donate 200 yuan to Master YongHua, and Master YongHua threw away the money outside. That's what's mentioned in the slides. So that's the background story.
Okay, very good. That helps. Okay, so going back to 74. So he asked for money. He asked for money from that sick businessman, rich man. And he says, I'm not forcing you, but the money here I'm asking you for is not for myself. It's to help the other monks who migrated from China to Hong Kong, and they needed things like clothing, like whatever necessities they have. Okay, and 75. He says, so remember, this is not I'm asking for money for other people. So don't think that I'm asking for my own account. Okay, so don't get me wrong. But this is wait a minute. This is different from when he asked for go on vacation. Stop, don't go on vacation. Don't go to Neapolitan pizza restaurants. Go cheap, eat tacos instead. So it's different, but this is a different story. Okay. 76. In Hong Kong has such a disciple. He got cancer. Will die for sure in 100 days. The doctor said. But quite a few of them said so. So Master YongHua says, if I make a deal with you, you won't have to die if you help. And at the time, there's a Master Ding Xi, another monk who knew that Mr. Chang here, this disciple Master YongHua was sick, and was rich as well. So he treated that Mr. Chang very nicely and sweet talked to him and said, I will organize things, I will do things for you, repentances, and organize special Dharma assemblies and prayers for you. And so Mr. Chang was happy. He said, okay, so this monk really cares for me. So he gave that monk a lot of support, a lot of money, a lot of donations. And at the same time, Master Hsuan was building Tzu monastery in Lantau Island. I'm not aware of that monastery. Anyway, Hong Kong monastery is pretty small. So Mr. Chang sent a worker to give Master $200, and the worker simply said, hey, this is what his boss told him to do, send the money over to help the Master, great Master, with his monastery building. And Master took the money without even looking at how much, he threw it outside. Okay, it's because Mr. Chang didn't keep his word in giving money to support the mainland China monks who moved to Hong Kong. And so Master Hsuan said, you go back, told the worker, you go back and tell your boss that to me his money is filthy, I will not accept it. I want to accept money, it's not a casual thing for me at all, Master Hsuan said. Okay, when I want the money, I will accept it. When I don't want the money, I will not accept it. I definitely do not want his money at all. So he threw the money outside. Okay, so the disciple who was supposed to die, Mr. Chang, lost face, and Master Hsuan says, you want to give him money? He should have come himself and got on his knees and bowed down. Not just anyone, he says, but particular guy, because he backtracked, he went back, reneged on his words, didn't keep his words. But that's a different thing. So when he tried to help Master Hsuan build the Tzu monastery in Lantau Island, it's a different story. He should have done it properly. Okay, he should have could have come and offer him $200 by getting to his knees and bow down to show his respect. Then he would have accepted it. Okay, so the guy messed up again. Mr. Chang messed up again. And so this is what happened. All right, as far as money goes, this is a story I was aware of, but not clearly explained in this portion of the tape here. So even money, Master Hsuan didn't really need money for himself. However, I don't know about you, I still feel that he should not have asked his disciples to abstain from going to the theater, going to the movies and so forth, spending time with the family, go out with the family and so forth. I feel it's important, part of your relationship. And to ask people to stop doing that, to me, is not reasonable. Okay? So I respectfully disagree with him. I hope that my disciples will not do that. We should make sacrifices ourselves. We should not ask people to make sacrifices, especially when it's a bonding time with the families. To me, that's very, very important. Okay? What you learn from his temple, what you learn from me, is to help improve your relationship with your family in the right direction. Okay? Part of it is bonding, part of it is is to enjoy each other more. Okay, so that's who he is. Master YongHua is such a special person. Let me give you a tip about this great man here. For some reason, it stuck in my mind, the three principles. Freezing to death, okay. Freezing to death under climate conditions, dying of hunger, I will not beg for food. What else? He may be dying of poverty, he will not seek. Okay, those are the three things that stuck in my mind of all his teachings. Initially, that's what stuck in my mind. It's fascinating. It's like I heard it before from him, maybe. Okay, but it's the only thing that really helped me gauge, because he wasn't there to guide me. Okay, I struggled a lot. I had no support. I had no guidance. I was unhappy with the instruction from his disciples. I was confused like heck. Okay, but those are the three principles I stuck with that seems to guide my actions and my looking for a way to get ahead in my cultivation. Okay, and so that's my personal experience. And then later on, as I started teaching my own disciples, okay, and I remember those three principles and what Master YongHua taught all of us, okay, his disciples. So I also taught my own disciples those three principles, as well as the things that we recite every morning and evening ceremony. Okay, those are very special times for me, and it turns out that I notice my disciples, especially the later generation disciples, the early disciples, it's different. Hey, it looks like that guy in Kong, I know him, I recognize him. He's too tall to be Korean. Huh? Most Korean men are shorter, yes? Is that you, Alex?
Hi, Master.
Hey, welcome to Korea. Welcome to Kong.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right. Good to have you. Yeah, yeah. You see, Korea, very tiny.
Master is already running away after suffering a little bit.
I got here, Master, and they said if I don't cry before I leave, it was a wasted trip.
Koreans are very tough, let me tell you. They will dance circles around you. Okay, so be humble. They can take it. They are scary. Okay, women in particular are tougher than men. Okay, okay, enjoy. Excuse me. So, the later disciples, the first generation disciples, I was confused. I'll be honest with you, I didn't know what to do. I was groping for things. What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to train people? Okay, and there's so much pressure, financial pressure, pressure from my peers, pressure from Master YongHua disciples, and so forth, and slanders and criticism and snickering, and so forth. So it's a lot of struggle for us. But the later disciples, I notice, and I want to share with you this tip here. Many of them, they progress very quickly, quicker than the others, relatively quicker than the others, because they stick to the three principles. Does it help? They progress a lot quicker because they stick to the three principles. Okay? And that's why you should feel very honored that Master YongHua taught us these beautiful principles of great men and women. Is that clear? Does it help you understand what it takes? Why the three principles were the first things when we recited ourselves? Every single ceremony, evening and morning ceremony, we recite that because that's our guidelines, the guidelines of great men and disciples of great men. It's so beautiful, the standards he set. Okay? Questions or comments? And that's why I have yet to see any man of the greatness, magnitude that Master YongHua has in this world. No one comes even close. No one. What makes me very sad is that for some reason his disciples fall so far short of it. I don't get it. Okay? So I'm here to remind all of you and them that the reason they're not at his level yet because they fail on those three principles. And they fail to try to live up to the standards that Master YongHua taught. Okay? He taught us so many, my generation, he taught us so many beautiful Dharma doors. Okay? And yet, most of us don't get it, don't take it seriously. Questions or comments? Okay, continue.
告诉他们以后喝完。今天我给你们讲一位高。
So there was, so it's going to this one. So the last slide, he was just, I think, talking to his disciples.
Is it anything interesting To me, I'm always
I couldn't.
curious about how he interacted with his disciples. Did he yell at them? Did he scold them? Did he insult them? Did he, but anyway, yeah.
Yeah,
Everything he does is with a purpose. But anyway, so also for you disciples, my disciples, okay, Master Shoha didn't probably say this to his disciple because he's too humble. Okay, not only your adherence to the three principles, okay, how well you adhere to the three principles will determine how far you can go in the Dharma I'm transmitting to you, okay, the Yang lineage I'm transmitting to you, okay. But also, I hope you don't make the same mistakes that his disciples, disciples of my generation make. Is that remember, do not delude yourself to thinking that you get people to donate more money, get people to donate more food, get people to support our temple more. Okay, it's you helping me, not at all. Okay, our jobs is never to take advantage. It's called climbing on conditions. Our people, we're very lucky. Our people are very, very devoted to us for some reason. Okay? They probably have nothing else to do. So that's why, because of their devotion, because of their sincerity, you must be careful not to climb on that condition. Okay? Meaning that you're going to ask them for more. You cannot expect them for more at all. Okay? Cut it out, please. Because you're violating the three principles and you're making me look very bad. You see, I'm unlike Master YongHua in the sense that Master YongHua is certified. I'm really a nobody. Okay? Which I just have a big mouth. Okay? I'm trying to explain to you the Dharma, and if you as my disciple, as my representative, and you climb on conditions, you beg, and you ask for things, okay? You're destroying my Dharma, you're making me look very, very bad. Okay? Please cut it out. You can't help me that way. If you want it for yourself, it's not a problem. Don't say, for example, that Master YongHua likes to eat this, like to eat that. Actually, it means you really want to eat that, or you're trying to score points with me, okay? Like, look, Master, look at how much money from our donation boxes I got for you, okay? It's not going to impress me. I worry when I see such behaviors, okay? It's counter to our Yang lineage, okay? It's contrary to our three doctrines, three principles. Do not seek, do not ask people for things. Do not beg. Even if you die of hunger, don't beg for food. Okay? Please pay attention to that. Okay, because as you grow, and we'll be all over, I'll be sending you all over, doing important things for Mahayana, our brand of Mahayana. You are my representative. You are the living embodiment of our American Mahayana. Master YongHua is certified, he's recognized in Asia, Asian Mahayana. He is the real deal, okay? We are slightly different. We are the American Mahayana. So I need your help. I need your support to make sure that we live up to the standards so that we're not lower than the Chinese Mahayana. Okay? Cut it out. Okay? In fact, when people make sacrifice or give them you should help them to stop. Take care of the family first, okay? We are not that important. I really feel that way. Okay? Your family is important. Your life is important. We're not that important. We're beggars. That's who we really are. All right. Continue, please.
今天我给你们讲一位高僧，这位高僧啊，是这个古代时候那个宋代时候。
Today, I will introduce you an eminent monk. This eminent monk was from ancient time, from Song Dynasty. During Song Dynasty,
这位高僧是外国人，不是中国人。他的名字呢是叫求罗达摩。
this eminent monk was a foreigner. He was not Chinese. His name was Ganarvarman.
这个求罗达摩啊，翻译过来这个意思叫功德楷。楷呀，这是金字加一个旗字，是铠甲的铠。
Ganarvarman translates into armor of merit and virtue.
Go ahead, Kong.
네, 김연숙님 질문입니다. 한국 절에서는 1년에 백중날을 포함해 여러 번 합동 천도제, 개인 천도제를 지내는데 이에 대한 마스터 생각은 어떠신지요? 더 효율적인 방법을 여쭙니다.
There's a question from Korea. It's about the day that remember, there's a special day that people do for deceased persons. What it does is, I think once someone explained to you, there's a special ceremony that for the deceased person, they kind of recommend the way that for the better life, for the next life that the next time when they reborn, they wish for them to go to the better places. So that's is called chandoje. So that's sometimes they do it together. Everyone gets together do chandoje, or sometimes they do it individually. So she wants to know if this is if there's any other effective way to do to take care of the deceased person besides chandoje.
It's Chao Du Jie, right? Changzhou is probably Chao Du.
So chan means recommend. Do means it's about a better place, leading to the better place. And che means like ceremony.
Okay. In Chinese, we have Chao Du. What's that in Chinese?
见度斋.
见度. Jian is to recommend.
Recommend. Do is
Jian
crossing.
is to introduce and recommend, endorse. Not just recommend, also endorse. Okay, in a strong sense. Du is to end, to go from this bad place to a good place. And jie is what?
I think it was jai. It was more like
Ceremony. What's the last word? I don't get what the last word is. In Korean, what's the last
In
word
Korea, originally it says it's a house. It means house. However, later they start to believe it as a ceremony.
Okay. Go ahead, JMT, comment.
师父，您刚才说的是没错，他说的那个천도제就是超度仪式、超荐仪式，没错。
Okay.
The last word is jai in
Jai,
Chinese.
so it's offering.
It's like offering.
Very
Yeah.
good.
Vegetarian.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. Okay. That's from the Chinese. It's a Chinese concept of Chao Du ceremony. Okay, and in particular, the Koreans they do it by offering food. Okay, that's also a very good thing to do as well. Okay, first of all, let's be blunt. For most of your relatives who die, who pass, they will fall to lower realms. Most of us, including myself, especially monks and nuns, when they die, they will fall. And that's very commonplace. And because the Buddha said so, the Buddha said that for you to get this human body, you will lose it. You will lose it 95% chance that you lose it. It's that bad. It's very, very, very serious issue for us, human beings. We will lose our human bodies. What we lose, meaning not just lose, we fall to lower realms. So far, so good. So all of us, we have a lot of ancestors, a lot of relatives in the past who are in bad shapes. That's just the way it is. Okay? And that's the nature of revolving in the wheel. And so the Chinese have they have dharmas that help such people. So, for example, I learned from the Chinese that we have ancestors, assistance for ancestors. Okay, so in the Koreans they have this Chao Du Chai, which is basically the feeding them, which is very clever. Okay, because they need help. Many of them are into the ghost realms. So, and there's very miserable. So this ceremony here will, in Korean, I'm sure, I don't know what it's like. Can you help me out, please? Is it a big deal, like a 49-day or what?
네, 한국에서는 사식구제만큼 천도제도 굉장히 크게 큰 영향을 미치고 있습니다. 그래서 많은 절에서 불자님들이 이렇게 요청을 하시면 스님들께서 돌아가신 분들을 위해서 그렇게 천도제를 치르는 경우가 굉장히 많습니다.
Yes, Master. Just like a 49 days, Chondoje is as big as 49 days and then as effective as 49 days. Many temples, people are request for this particular ceremony, and many senims actually does this ceremony for deceased people.
Once a year, right? One ceremony, yes? 2 hours? Something like that?
Yes, Master.
Okay. Go ahead, one.
여기서 질문은 백중날 합동천도제를 얘기하는 것 같습니다. 여러 사람이 하는 거. 목련존자의 어머니의 유래에 의해서 100가지 음식을 스님들한테 올리는 게 유래가 됐습니다. 그거에 대한 질문을 하는 것 같습니다.
I believe this question is related to Ulambana Day, that 100 dishes are offered to monks and nuns, and they do this special ceremony, Chondoje, at the same time. And
Yes.
this is really
108. The Chinese offered 108 things, mostly food. Is that right? In Korea too, you offer 108 dishes, not 100.
한국에서는 100가지로 알고 있습니다.
As far as I know, in Korea, it's 100 dishes.
Okay, well, 8 or more. It shouldn't matter that much. You get so full anyway after 100. Okay, but the Chinese is a big deal. You know, I used to kneel in the Buddha hall and they pass, you know, that one dish that the kitchen prepares in one dish and then pass it on from one person to person and so forth, all going around, you know, the men's side and the women's side. It's interesting. Yeah, I couldn't understand it. It's just so hollow. When you make me kneel like this for an hour, seriously? I don't even get to eat this thing, and 100 dishes. I mean. How can you possibly eat 100 dishes? Anyway, so yes, it's a practice that probably originated from the Chinese style of Buddhist practices. Okay, so it's a very good thing to do. Primarily, to me, that's to help feed the deceased. They need to be fed. Many of them need to be fed, because they fall into bad places. And that's the one time a year where they have a chance to have a good meal, okay, and enjoy it. And so it's a good thing to do. However, I feel that maybe, especially the young Sunim nowadays, don't understand the meaning of that Dharma anymore. And that's why it's culturally became something that you don't understand the meaning anymore. So I really appreciate the input from all of you. I am learning a lot from your culture. But the question is very, very good. First of all, it helps when you offer those things. You go to the temple and ask the temple to organize that offering. It really helps. It makes a difference. Okay, it's a lot more meaningful than you think. It's just when it's your turn become a hungry ghost in the future, and somebody does it to you because you did it now. You're doing it now. Okay, then you remember how wonderful it is when you're hungry and you're thirsty for such a long time, for the entire year, and someone does it too for you. It's greatly appreciated. Trust me. Okay. But the question is very, very savvy. The question is that's helpful. Absolutely. Is there anything else? Absolutely. Okay. For in our world, it's important that you take care of them immediately. You know, you need to feed them, so you help them by providing food. Okay, you can do better than once a year. How is that? If you feel that it's useful, why not do it more often? Yes, but if you do it more often, you shouldn't have to do 100 dishes every day. That's too much. None of us eats 100 dishes every day, right? I mean, once a year maybe, but not even that. Okay, so what I recommend you do is that you go to the temple and do a rebirth plaque for such people. Okay, and they'll be fed daily. Assuming you go to a good temple where they're supposed to feed, they're supposed to offer on the rebirth altar food every day, okay, so that the beings who are not reborn to the Pure Land yet get food and drinks, so that they're not hungry and thirsty. So that's the meaning of that. And they also, which also enables them to cultivate. For example, in our temple, such beings on the rebirth altar actually are cultivating with us. They actually are participating in ceremonies. They actually are participating in our chantis as well, and so forth, and complaining about how much the legs hurt and so forth, okay, while accruing their blessings so that they can go to the Pure Land. Okay, so you should do it daily, and you should ask the temple to do it daily, okay? And furthermore, it's also ultimately the near term is to take care of them so that they are not afflicted and they're not doing stupid things. People do stupid things because they are deprived, because they're hungry, so they feel they're so desperate they have to go steal something to feed the family, for example. Okay, so you need to take care of the near term as well as long term. Yes, near term, feed them and with food and drinks. But long term, you also want to help them go to the Pure Land. Okay, so I would propose to get a rebirth plaque for the deceased. Okay, so that they are taken care of daily, and then when they have enough blessings, they can go to the Pure Land themselves and put an end to all the sufferings forever. And that's the ultimate help. Yes, one.
Is it on? What's the difference between the rebirth and the permanent ancestral plaque then?
That's the same thing. Ancestors meaning you go up the ladder, ancestors, first of all, because you have so many ancestors, so you need to provide for them, give them food, drink, and so forth. And then you share blessings until they're able to go. Okay, so that's how it works. Yeah. And that's I learned from the Chinese, especially Master YongHua. That's a wonderful way to practice filiality. Okay, it makes a huge difference.
So I assume it's a little bit slower than the rebirth, right? Because it's
absolutely
so many.
Rebirth is one person, ancestors like percolating up, So it takes quite a while, but at least they're taken care of. Wei Mao.
Master, so we as lay disciples wants to plant blessing to support the temple, either with the constructions or so on. So the best ways to maximize our blessing is to meet the needs of the temple. But if the temple don't spell out or let us know, then how do we as lay disciples have a chance to plant blessing? So then in that case, how do we make the information available to the lay disciple without violating the three principles?
Well, you can try the Master YongHua disciples' temples. They say, oh, I need a carpenter, I need an electrician, I need an architect, I need an engineer to fix my temples. Try over there. But our temple, we prefer not to do it. That's all. I'm sorry. You cannot have a cake and eat it too. The reason that we don't ask for help is because that's how the Dharma has always been transmitted. It's called the Jin Shu Ren, meaning that you need to draw near the people. You need to come near and say, hey, how are you, Master? How are you, Shiko? How are you, Sunim, today? And you say, I was fine, and this morning Master told me to start lifting weight. Now I wrecked my back. And that's when you say, oh, can I interest you in some electric shocks? You know what I mean? That's called Jin Shu Ren. That's why you talk, you draw near them, and naturally you find out what we need. Because we're not going to tell you, okay? So that's why you have to come near us, come to the temple, and behave innocently, Okay, because if you come to the temple and start judging us and say, you're trying to pick my pocket, and then we even less talkative, less communicative. Okay, but I prefer not to say anything whatsoever. Okay, because I feel that. Primarily because I'm lazy. Because the more you know, the more I have to turn you down. I feel that the way the Chinese system was organized is beautiful. You come to the temple, you talk to the monks and nuns and try to help out. So number one, you help out when you can. Don't be so greedy. You can't come to the temple and say, I want to maximize my blessings today. You have that kind of mindset, your blessings are not maximized. Does it make sense? You always say, I want to maximize my blessings today. Okay? That's called what? Greed. It has to happen naturally. If it's meant to be, you maximize your blessing because we will not ask for it. Okay? And because even though we need it, we don't ask for it, and you happen to be able to help out, that's when your blessings are the greatest. Whereas if we ask for your help, yes, you create a lot of blessings, but it's not the greatest. We have different dharmas, okay? My dharma is that I want the greatest blessings possible for you because I want you to reach way up there. To get way up there requires a lot of blessings, a lot more than you imagine, okay? Yes. The other guys, they say, okay, I need a carpenter, I need a plumber here. Okay, come and help. This is good for both sides, and this is wonderful. You help him build the way places and so forth. Okay, it works fine. What happens is that you do that, you go to mid-range. I want you to go to way up there. Master Wei Shan, Master Yang Shan's level, Master YongHua's level. I'm not interested in you because if you only we do the same thing as my generation, my peers are doing, then it's not good enough for me. Okay? Then we're just the same as the others. There's no point us opening a temple. If that's the case, I would say if I'm the same, I would be the first one to tell you, hey, go to mountain temple, go to Gold Sage, whatever, go there because don't bother me. I'm the same as they are, probably less. You understand? If we're the same, then why bother? I'm sorry, I can't make you happy. Go ahead, Conk.
네, 한국어 유튜브에 올라온 코멘트 하나랑 그다음 단톡방에 올라온 질문이 하나 있습니다. 한국어 유튜브 올라온 코멘트입니다. 박순희 순이님이 주셨습니다. 스님, 선화상인 법문을 듣고 싶어서 유튜브 들어가면 한국어로 번역이 되어 있는 데가 없어요. 가끔 잠들 때 선화상인 능엄주를 잘 듣고 한답니다. 이게 코멘트입니다. 질문도 마저 할까요, 세라님?
코멘트 먼저 할게요, 스님.
네.
고맙습니다. Master, this is from Korean YouTube. This person's name is Park Sun-hee. Master, I often listen to Great Master Shenhua's Dharma talk, but it's on the new YouTube. Unfortunately, there's no Korean translation. So often I listen to Great Master Shenhua's Shrangama mantra. That's the comment. And we have one more question from another person.
Wait. Listen to Master Shinhwa YouTube thing, not translate into Korean. And what else? I missed the...
Oh, the next thing is she also listened to Great Master Shenhua's Shurangama mantra.
Okay, is there a question?
It's a comment.
It's a comment. Oh, okay. It's great. So maybe then those of you who are better in Chinese and good in Korean, maybe you should translate more of his Dharma talks into Korean. Number one. Okay, and with helpful. That's how I got started. I got started by listening because my Chinese is very bad. I couldn't understand Chinese. So I listened to the English translation and Vietnamese translation occasionally. But then I dropped it very quickly. The Vietnamese translation sucks. Okay, so I prefer the English translation. English translation is far better, okay, in my opinion. But anyway, that's how I started. And then you have to start somewhere. Eventually I graduated, began to understand more Chinese characters, was able to understand the subtleties of those teachings from Master Shinhwa. So that's why you should do the same thing. You should do right now. You should translate. Those of you can create a lot of blessings by translating the Chinese teachings from Master Shinhwa into Korean. Okay? And number two, cultivate, because your translation is not that good, because your level is too low. Okay, so and take it seriously. Go all the way. Translate for now, and then cultivate and increase your samadhi power to higher than the other sunims. Okay, so that your translation will bring your readers to higher level understanding of the Dharma. That requires you to be able to understand the Dharma at a higher level. Okay? If you don't understand the Dharma, you drag your readers down. If you understand the Dharma, you elevate your listeners, your readers. Okay? That's why your cultivation matters. It's not a matter of degrees, it's a matter of recognition. It's about you, your level, your contribution. Okay? Yes. Next question. YouTube. Go ahead, Sarah.
네, 단톡방에 올라온 입강님 질문입니다. 한국에는 삼매라는 말이 있는데요. 예를 들면 독서 삼매경, 운동 삼매, 작업 삼매 등 아무 생각 없이 무언가에 푹 빠져 집중해 있는 상태를 말합니다. 이것도 일종의 삼매인가요? 그렇다면 명상 말고 이런 것에 집중해 있는 것도 삼매력을 키우는 데 도움이 될까요?
This is from Ipgang. In Korea, there's this word named Samadhi. For example, there's a reading Samadhi, exercise Samadhi, work Samadhi. What that means is, without thinking, you just falling into what you're doing and then you concentrate it. Is that a type of Samadhi? If it is, besides meditation, is this way of concentration, is that will help to increase our samadhi power?
Yes, it is samadhi, meaning that there is no uncommon for people that when they work, they're able to concentrate to the exclusion of everything else. Or a golf player to concentrate on hitting the ball and forget about the noise around them, the wind, the applauses, everything. Okay, that's common. So you see, concentration or samadhi is pervasive in life for everyone. The more you are able to concentrate, the bigger your achievement, if you will. Okay, there's a clear relationship between your ability to concentrate and how much you can achieve. Okay, among other factors, but the one main factor is that samadhi. All right. So many people don't necessarily need to practice chant. They are able to concentrate naturally for many reasons. I'm not going to explain to you, because if I explain to you, then you say, okay, then I won't need to go to your chant class at all. Okay, that's why I will not compete against myself. Okay, but there's also another reason. Another reason is that many of you are smart Alex. You say, oh, yeah, Master Xinhua says so, Master YongHua says so, therefore I got to figure it out, so I don't need to practice. Okay, you don't understand. All the things we're telling you is in order to guide you in your practice. Okay, it's not, and it's by design. So it's not about knowledge. It's about knowledge per se. It's not about it's like book knowledge I'm referring to. I'm talking about in the training, Buddhist training, it's about execution knowledge. You know what to do. You know what steps to take. That's what the difference is about. There's a difference between success and failure, is that you do the right things at the right time. Knowing about it is not going to bring you success. It only makes you more egotistical, thinking you know everything, you understand everything. It's doing. That's much harder. Okay? Because when we teach you something, it's only a theoretical level. When doing it, it requires you to make adjustments constantly, okay, until you get there. And finally, the third reason that by not telling you everything or the principles behind it, I could, but I'm not. I refuse to, because your level is too low. When you're higher level, I would teach you. I would teach you how I do it, what I do to train people, okay? But it's pretty high level. You have to get pretty high level before I reveal it to you. Because the objective is to help you develop the skill to systematically enter samadhi at will. Whereas these people who don't have training, they do it because of habit, okay? But they're very narrow alley. They need to have certain conditions before they enter samadhi. Whereas our Chan training is like a 100-lane freeway that you can choose many ways to enter samadhi at will, okay? And stay there much longer than the untrained people. That's the real reason why we put so much emphasis on, we spend so much time investing in buildings, in training people, in providing you food, providing you protection, so that you develop that ability to serve yourself. Okay? It's to your advantage, not for us. That's what we do. You too.
From Lyle, can we, lay people, follow these 3 principles? I want to follow these 3 principles. It looks like real freedom to me. But I'm already relying on my husband since I quit my full-time job. So are they already impossible to follow for a person like me? And I want to understand what 随缘不变随缘 means. Can you elaborate on this? Even I won't be able to follow these 3 principles. Thank you, always for giving me chance to ask questions.
Yes, you can follow the 3 principles even though you depend on your husband. Okay, sometimes we need to depend on something in order to be free from others. And depending on your husband is a good excuse to me. And in return, love him more. Be more grateful. Do a better job taking care of the son. Okay, and so forth. So there's a trade-off, yes? But absolutely, lay people can follow the 3 principles. And such lay people actually got very high, because I met such lay people, disciples of Master YongHua, and they got very high. Actually, as of today, higher than his monks. They really stick by the 3 principles. Fascinating. Okay. So, what was the second question again? Second part? Oh, 随缘无变，无变随缘。随缘不变。随缘 is you accord with conditions, meaning you don't force things. If your husband says, I don't want you to go to the temple, you don't force it. Okay? You negotiate. And you convince, you use persuasion instead of being forceful, of forcing it on others. 随缘 is that you don't force others to do things. You don't impose yourself on others. Okay? Even though you're better, you have more wisdom, you're stronger, you have more money, you're smarter, and everything, you don't force yourself on others. Buddhas are like that. Bodhisattvas are like that. They never force themselves on others. Okay? They accord with condition. If others can go so much, they, others are icky, others are limited, they can push so far. That's 随缘. Okay? 不变. 不变 is that even though on the surface you are maybe appear like you're compromising, okay, your principles, your value system, but actually inside you're not. You hold on to your value system. You hold on to your the principles. Okay? So, for example, Master YongHua says, I asked this Mr. Chang, businessman Chang, for money. And so everyone heard, he goes around, that guy goes around and says, hey, that monk, Master YongHua there, he's poor, and he finally broke down, and he asking me for money. Yes, and some of it goes to help some of his fellow monks. Okay? So that's, Master YongHua was compelled to do that. Given the circumstances, he would ask this guy here for help, okay? But actually, he's not insistent upon that. Okay, he still sticks to his principles of not asking. All right? You don't compromise your value system. That's 不变. Okay? And what about 不变随缘? 不变随缘. This Lyle here asks good questions. I would not want to be her husband. If she asks a question like this, her husband would not be able to answer. Why do you drive a BMW station wagon? Why can't you buy a Porsche? Huh? Huh. She would have too much fun on the husband's account. Yeah. Anyway, 不变随缘. Bubian is that once you have wisdom, you never change. Once you become enlightened, your wisdom is always there. You never change. Okay, that's why Bubian, you never change. Your value will never change. Okay, 随缘. But now you can choose to compromise. Meaning that Master YongHua says, I rather die than ask for money. Okay? But that's Bubian. Okay? And I will not ask for money. Money means nothing to me. But 随缘. But you know, for those monks, I will beg for money. So the reverse, 不变随缘, is for enlightened people. Excuse me. That's when you become enlightened. Then you're supposed to 不变随缘. That's what bodhisattvas do. They will never change. The wisdom will never change. But they accord with your conditions. So they appear stupid, they appear greedy, they appear egotistical, they appear angry, they appear, that's 随缘. But they never change. They never compromise themselves. That's such a cool thing. That's something that I'm glad Lio asked, something that many of Master YongHua great disciples don't understand. 不变随缘. Because the wisdom is not there yet. I'm not saying this to criticize anyone. I'm saying this to challenge them. You think you understand? No, you don't. That 不变随缘 is incredible. Very few monks and nuns can do that. Master YongHua can, I assure you. That's why he taught. He said, I'm here. I am 不变随缘. But you need to 随缘. 不变. Because you're not there yet. Does it help? Good question. Yes, Ray Charles.
Thank you, Master. So I think when I'm meditating, it's difficult for me to see my dantian. So I've been reciting Buddha's name when I'm sitting. I wanted to ask, is there also other Dharma doors I can practice when I'm sitting, when I cannot see my dantian?
I had the same problem. I could not see my dantian for several years. Oops. I take it back. Okay, forget it. You didn't hear it from me, okay? It's too embarrassing. Not everyone can see the dantian, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. Yeah. 随缘不变. Does it help? It doesn't matter. You don't see, you don't see. You can't see it, you still look for it. Are there other Dharma doors? Continue. You're on the right track. No need to worry about it. Okay? All right. Anyone else? Okay. It's fun, folks. I'm telling you, this is so much fun. I see that how when you improve, I tickle me pink because I see how happier you are inside. You still complain. My disciples bitch and moan constantly, but they like it. Master, you're too demanding, you're too much. It's too much work, but they like it. Way Mountain.
I got a complaint that I'm asking too many questions, so it's time to go home, somebody's saying. So maybe I'll go for next time, or should I ask?
随缘不变，不变随缘. What do you
Well,
want?
I just have, sorry. Well, I'll go with the flow. I just have a quick comment on the earlier, when the Koreans talking about the Chao Du. I believe we have the same version in the Cantonese in Vietnam, which is we talked about before, like Da Jai. We call it like Da Chi, we call it Da Jai. So they do that when during for somebody die on Ancestral Day and on the July 15th, the Ulaanbaatar Day also. So it's called Da Jai, our version.
Yeah, we have a lot of, the Koreans picked it up from a Chinese, and so Vietnamese picked it up from the Chinese as well. But the point here is it's a fun thing to do. If I had my choices, I would do that one day during the year, and then I would also do on the birthday. Okay, because if we celebrate birthdays when you're still alive, why not after you're dead? Let's have one more reason to party. Okay? All right. No, those are good things to do. Seriously, it's a nice thing to do for your ancestors, and it helps them. But think bigger picture, okay? It's not just food alone, but it has to be every day. It has to be ultimately, they should go to the Pure Land. Okay, that should be your objective. So I'm very grateful to the Chinese for teaching us such dharmas, but I find that myself in a position where now I have to teach the Chinese again to hang on to such treasure in their chest, so that if the Chinese don't do it anymore, forget to do it, then it's time for us to do it here in America, okay? So that everyone else can benefit from it as well, okay? All right. Thank you, everyone. You're all very special.